Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, and if you are new here, welcome. And in today's video I will be making this waterfall and it will go on my Christmas village. So let's get started. Here I am showing you guys the foam. I actually already cut this out and shaped it to where I wanted it to go. Actually, it was like very natural. It didn't even have to like really be trimmed, so that was awesome. Here I'm going to use some E5000 and some hot glue to hold it together so it can last throughout the years. You guys can tell my E6000 kept just squirting out everywhere. Is this a problem for you guys? Here I'm going to take my glue gun and I'm going to make like the waterfall effect and let that dry as my E6000 and my foam are drying as well. Okay, here I'm going to start with some gray acrylic paint, and I'm just going to randomly put this all over the board. You don't want any kind of pattern. You just want to make it look very natural. Just go ahead and cover your project with this. And I noticed I called it a foam board. It is not a foam board, it is just foam blocks. So I'm going to call it the mountain display. And so here I'm going to take some brown paint and I'm going to blotch this all over, and I'm just going to kind of mix the gray and the brown together. And you just kind of want to mix them together. It kind of makes that effect, I don't know, it just blends really well together. And you don't want to do this when your gray paint is dry, so don't let them dry in between. this is the effect that you're looking for. And of course I covered the entire thing. Alright, now I'm going to go in with some green paint. And you kind of want to mix the green and the browns together to kind of darken up that green a bit, because my green was a little too bright for me. And you don't want to go too heavy on the green, just kind of stick by like where the water is. Alright, just like that, nice and perfect. Not too much green everywhere, but just enough. Now I'm going to go in here with some gold, and just like the green, you don't want it too much. I'm actually going to put this around where the water display is going to be, giving it a kind of like gold in your river kind of look. Okay, and this is how it should look. And don't mind my husband in the back, he was getting ready for work. Now I'm going to take some black and kind of darken up the shades that I want. And it should look like this, not too much black, just creating some shadows. To mix blue and black together, and I'm going to put it where my water is going to fall. And you don't want to go too heavy on this again. You still want to see your rocks and stuff underneath the water, and this is where your water really comes into effect, and you can really see the process of where the water is going to fall. Now this is where you want to add all of your details, like your rocks. For me, I got these from outside in my garden, And I'm going to hot glue and E6000 those into place if I could ever open my glue stick. And yes, this is the longest glue stick in the world. I got this from Hobby Lobby. Alright, and here's all my rocks stuck down. Alright, now I cleaned up my work area and I put down some parchment paper. Now this is where I'm going to get my resin and stuff out. And disclaimer, this is the first time I have used resin and didn't really do my research on it, so wear a respirator. That would be really good. For me, and my kitchen was very ventilated, so I was okay with that. But I worked without any gloves and my hands were so sticky. But I immediately washed my hands after, and you actually used some alcohol to wash it off and exfoliate it. So I was perfectly fine. But definitely wear gloves. It's better. Now, if you're making a river and you don't have edges to your lake, you're definitely going to want to use tape. But for me, I didn't need it. But I definitely should have picked up my foam board and looked at it a little closer, because I did have 2 holes in my board that my resin started to leak through. But that was okay for me because this is going on my village, so it'll be covered with snow anyway on the bottom, so it was okay. And here's me testing the boundaries of my container, knowing dang straight I was going to need a bigger container to mix this with. And you're going to want to mix this very slowly for about 5 minutes. And I had to sacrifice my measuring cup, RIP. And go ahead and mix this for 5 minutes. I let mine sit so all the bubbles would come out, and I actually gave it a tap on the counter, which you will see. But I didn't mind the bubbles. It kind of looked very natural. The water has lots of bubbles in it, so I liked it. Now I'm going to pour my resin where my water is, and down here is where I had the small hole where my foam didn't quite stick together yet. but we're going to cover the whole river part. Now here I was taking my skewer and kind of pushing the resin where I wanted it to go, making sure I didn't leave any open spots. As you can see, I mixed up some more resin. I just felt like I needed just a little more. I probably could have gotten away with not mixing it, but I decided to go for it. Why not? I have tons of it, and I probably won't use it all. And this is where I realized that my resin was leaking. Son of a beep. Like a girl says, oopsies. Now I'm going to take my hot glue effect that we did earlier, and I'm going to cut those down to match the length of where the water falls. I'm going to let those stick into the resin before it dries completely. And I'm going to pour a little resin on top of it and help blend it out a little bit so it doesn't quite look like hot glue. And this is where it started to get all over my hands because of course I have to touch. Of course, you could cut your hot glue waterfall effect down after your resin dries and just hot glue it or E6000 it onto there. But I thought, hey, if I stick it into the resin, it'll harden and then I don't have to worry about it ever coming out. Silly me. are 24 hours later, and I let that dry completely without having the kids touch it. And I glued down some little trees onto there. I actually took the bottom off some of the Christmas trees that I had, and I used those. I just stuck them in there with hot glue, and I think this came out amazing. Now, this is not my first time making a rock wall or anything like that. I did it last year, so I'm kind of good with the painting. But if it's your first time, go easy on yourself. Everything's just a project. It'll be okay. It'll turn out great eventually. And here are the trees that I used. And these little bottoms I'm actually going to use for something else, so that'll be good. Nothing goes to waste over here. And there we go. Yay! We did our first project of this year. I hope you guys enjoyed, and please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I see you out there. You better subscribe. See y'all next time. Bye-bye.